Hello there. As I warned would happen yesterday, these EU budget talks, which were extended by a day, became a bit adversarial and again ended without agreement. Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost. And I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily. So the EU budget talks that were extended by a day into Sunday have continued so far without agreement on who pays in and who gets the money out. And I hear that both the French President Emanuel Macron and the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who are on the side of giving no strings attached grants out, walked out of a meeting with the Dutch PM Mark Rutte and the other leaders of the more frugal member states. The talks are due to resume again later today and probably won't be a short affair either. But there's been the added development that those who want to be a bit more prudent have been told that they have replaced the UK as the bloc's awkward squad. But how anyone could be anywhere near as awkward as us Brits, I don't know. And the arch-federalist Guy Verhofstadt was straight in there complaining via Twitter that, again Europe is paralysed by the need for unanimity among member states. High time to start the conference on the future of Europe to abolish it. This is not how modern politics is run. That's obviously in reference to the fact that the EU budget needs unanimous approval from all member states to get it through. Although there are many issues that are voted through the EU Council using the qualified majority voting system, where, as long as there's a majority of EU member states, that's over 55%, that also have the majority of the EU population, that's over 65%, and they vote in favour of something, then it's adopted. And a few of the more minor issues are covered by a simple majority of EU 27 leaders. But where EU finances are concerned, all it takes is for one member state to vote it down and it's back to the drawing board. And right now, the EU 27 cannot come to an agreement on the €750 billion coronavirus bailout package. And there are reports that the French President Emanuel Macron had banged his fist on the table in rage during the latest meeting at their inability to sort this out as the Austrian Chancellor left the room to answer the phone. And that Emanuel Macron had also threatened to walk out of the talks rather than make a bad deal. Now, where have I heard that one before? Sounds a bit like no deal is better than a bad deal, doesn't it? Anyway, the Brussels proposals for a coronavirus rescue package was initially for a €750 billion package, made up of €500 billion in grants and €250 billion in loans. But the so-called frugal four nations of the Netherlands, Austria, Denmark and Sweden fought hard to try and get Brussels to reduce the size of the package by €50 billion to €700 billion and change the grant-loan mix to €350 billion for each. But their offer was also conditional on getting rebates for their own EU budget contributions. And they got the backing of Finland for this proposal. But France, Germany and Spain want a minimum of €400 billion in grants, and Charles Michel, the EU Council President, suggested they use the figure of €390 billion for grants. As I also said might happen, there was a bitter argument over attaching rule of law requirements to any handouts, something that the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán refused to entertain and got the support of Poland and Slovenia in the process. And Orbán accused other EU member state leaders of waging a personal vendetta against him and his country. And Hungary has in the past threatened to veto the budget if this type of requirement is included. Orban also said of Mark Rutte, "I don't like blame games, but the Dutchman is the real responsible man for the whole mess. The Dutch Prime Minister, he is the fighter." And according to one French diplomat, Mark Rutte, the Dutch Prime Minister, has replaced the UK in the awkward squad seat. But Mark Rutte reportedly said that the French and the Germans were just being a bit grumpy. But the Netherlands is playing a bit hardball here, and it's reported that back in April the Dutch finance minister said that the EU should investigate countries which say they have no budgetary margin to deal with the effects of the crisis. And according to the Irish broadcaster RTE, the French leader banged the table and accused Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte of behaving like former British Prime Minister David Cameron, who took a hard line at EU summits but ended up leading his country into a referendum to quit the bloc and losing his job. On top of all of this, it is reported that Sweden had fiercely opposed the demand from Brussels that a €5 billion reserve fund be established to help out the countries that get hardest hit by Brexit. But at the root, the EU 27 has some countries who will only okay the coronavirus funding if it is limited in scope, with those countries who take the money having to reform their internal politics and economies, set against other member states who just want as much dosh as they can get and as quickly as possible with no strings attached. Now, Dutch News is reporting that the coronavirus fund talks came close to failure last night, but that a new compromise is being put together, and it also reported that Mark Rutte said, "The conversations last night made progress on a few things. It looks a bit more hopeful than when I thought last night. It's over." And the EU Council President Charles Michel said last night, "I hope we can reach an agreement. I hope the news will be tomorrow that the EU has managed to do the impossible." All sounds a bit of a mess, doesn't it? And as I see it, there are going to be a lot of unhappy people in the European Union, however this pans out. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it. So what do you think about all of this? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. And thank you very much for watching.